Look, I see matches in the kingdom. I see hunters slaying demons. I see fire on this earth coming down like Hiroshima. I see prophets rising up, prophesying scriptures cut. I see Christ, he coming back, and he black, he look like us. I see it, I see it.
We are not a hate group. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
Hey, shalom, 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 Israel. Most High in Christ bless. It's the Thursday Late Show. Shout out to our tech team. A soldier was over there sweating bullets. You're getting screamed at by our supervisor back. But all praise the Lord, we got it worked out. We're your hosts. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Micah.
Hey, so Israel, check it out. While we begin the show, take out your phones, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell notifications. All praise the Lord. Hey, and also all of y'all, after every IUIC broadcast, make sure you go to the QR code, all right? Scan it. Why? Because it affects and it helps us to grow. So go ahead and make sure you do the QR code. And a lot of you that are older, okay, that don't understand technology, I get it. You were born in the 70s or 60s. We got to learn, okay? Learn. All praise to the Most High. What we always do at Precept, we start with a systematic approach. Officer Michael begins with the Watchman Report. Take it away.
Deadly atmospheric river parks over Southern California, flooding roads and causing more than 100 mud slides. So it's some bad weather out there. That's the West Coast? Yeah, that's the West Coast. Bad weather on the West Coast. All right. Next article, please. Make sure y'all go and check these articles out. I know y'all gonna check this one out. Car insurance rates jumped 26% across the U.S. in 2024. Report shows. It's only the second month in Esau's so-called year, and car insurance already up 26%. So let's make sure we're doing things decently in order, Israel. Next article, please. Michigan mother found responsible for son's actions in high school mass shooting. How we got here and what's next? She know daggone well how she got there. She supplied the weapon for him. Y'all gonna read that too? Esau doing what they do best. Next article. Pray for our tech team, y'all. Hamas proposed three-stage 135-day truce and hostage deal, leading to war's end reports. Netanyahu was not trying to hear that, though. I'm tell y'all straight. Y'all go read about on that right there. U.S. detects Russian aircraft flying in Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone. U.S. picking up on Russia now. Crazy out here, y'all. Next article, please. There's no more money, German minister tells rowdy farmers. Hey, this is getting crazy. Make sure y'all go and read this. They tell them ain't no more money out there, so you're going to see what these German farmers are doing out there. Come on, let's go, IT. U.S. drone strike kills Iran-backed militia leader in Baghdad. So they done killed another one. First they got Soleimani, and now they killed another one over there. So this concludes the Watchman Report.
You are now live.
We the sons of God, we don't back.
Hey, shalom. Welcome back to Precept Upon Precept. Hey, listen, remember. It's very important that you share content with all the radio shows. You get in there, You go after the show or during the show, you subscribe to the page. A lot of times we forget. Okay, you think that, oh, I watch it, and a lot of times you wouldn't even be subscribed to the a lot of the channels that you watch. So what we do in the format after we go to Watchman Report, we create, Officer Mikael creates a thumbnail. Usually it's 1 to 2 days, sometimes 3 days before, about the show. So today's show is going to be a very thought-provoking, very lot going on in the world in Europe that they're not showing. So Officer Mikael, explain the thumbnail to the audience. All right, listen. Look at this.
So we have the title of the show is "The Flock of Esau is Divided, Farmers Striking and More." As you can see in the background, we have farmers that are enraged and they're ready to go to war. They're attacking and they're fighting because they're upset. They're ticked off. So that's what we're gonna get into tonight. Right. Is this frustration that they're expressing.
Right, and also I wanted to share with you, this is why it's so important, because typically speaking, when Caucasians, Edomites go through struggle, it gets massive attention in this country. You're not hearing about the things, maybe a plug or two here and there. There is stuff going on tonight in all these different countries. This is a major, major, major deal, and every other news station covers it except for the United States. You get it in Australia, you get it in all the European news stations. Russian covers it, India covers it, but not the good old U.S. of A. Why? Because there's an agenda. So, all praise to the Most High. Let's start off with, I want one scripture. Get me, it's in the gospel, just came to me just now. A house divided cannot stand. Because what we're going to see is the reason why we came up with the name, it says the flock of Esau. Because in a flock, okay, or a herd or a group, okay, there's always a leader. There's always the strongest person in the flock, right? That's why when you read in Jeremiah, it said the least of the flock, that is still part of the gang, if you will. So we're going to show you about the flock of Esau being divided. And Christ told us about this. Check this out. Read.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 25. And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them.
So now this is important because this absolutely goes for us in this truth. Amos told us if two must walk together, they must be agreed. However, you're going to find that in order for a king, that's why Rome fell. There was division in the Roman Empire, and then they imploded from within. What's going to happen is Esau, the powerful one in the flock is the United States of America. They're going to turn on each other, and we're seeing it right now. We're going to go into it tonight, okay? Read it again, Officer Micah.
And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself.
So now you know it's not just talking about the Israelites. Every kingdom that ever was. Read it again.
And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is
every kingdom divided against it. What does that show you? That the white man's kingdom is not just America. The white man's kingdom stretches to all of Europe and the entire earth. That's why Patient Saints covered it. We covered it multiple times. There are over 800, I think it's 845, military bases that the United States has, and there's over 100 of them in Japan alone. So that shows you that Esau's kingdom is the whole world. So now, if India bucks up, if the Arabs buck up, they're fine. But when their own flock begins to become divided, that's when you know we're towards the end. Read it one more time.
And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
It's brought to what?
To desolation.
And that is what's going to bring in Armageddon, is the division of this flock, and we're going to get into it tonight. So first things first, read on.
Yes, sir. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
I like that, because the house of Esau, the flock of Esau, they are divided. Why? Because the underlying tone of everything you're going to see tonight has to do with this. Who runs NATO? It is the United States of America that runs NATO. Who runs the United Nations? The United States of America. You would think that the EU is run by Germany and France because they're the most powerful. No, 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 no. The U.S. sets policy, and the European Union has to delegate and follow out that policy. Well, guess what? The Europeans, starting with the farmers, they are up in arms. They are bucking against their government to the point. Wait till you see what we're going to bring out tonight. You're not going to believe it. You're not. That's why you got to share this, okay? Bring up the first one. Actually, before we get into, I'm sorry, Akim. I want to get a backdrop of understanding. Give me the CPA. I want to get the background. Then we're going to hit him with all the videos, France, Germany. All right?
Hey, Cap, you know what's heavy about the CPA?
Yes.
A lot of people don't know. When you follow the money, you can find out what's really going on.
Right.
Money is the transaction that make everything happen. So when you follow the money, you see, oh, these deals are going on, that deal is going on, and you find out the politics behind it, you find out the motivations behind it, and you can start to see what the moves is being made in the world really are.
Right. So we're going to go, and I got everything time-stamped for you, all right? Spent a lot of time on this. If we start first, we're going to start with the first 20 seconds. Then we're going to jump to 7:15, and I'm going to prove to you today that everything that they're doing is based upon it's masked upon an agenda that they're going to get everyone in the world to accept. Just like they tried that crap with COVID, all right? And the reason why it didn't go through is because a lot of these right-wing Republicans, like people in Florida, I ain't wearing no mask. They knew it was BS. It's us fools that just, we think that you got Negroes wearing masks in their own car. In their own car wearing a mask. It made no sense. You see that? It makes no sense. Play.
Agriculture contributes about 33% of all the emissions of the world, depending a little bit on how you count it, but it's anywhere from 26 to 33. And we can't get to net zero. We don't get this
real
job.
Quick. So what I want us to know, I'm going to slow it down, is the reason why there is such a problem with the farmers is because they're saying that agriculture makes up 26 to 33% of the carbon gas, CO2 gases, meaning that they need to get to net zero by 2030, which is 6 years from now. Watch what's going to happen. We're going to show you what net zero is. We're going to show you all of that. This is the reason why. Because all of the, well, I wouldn't say all, the vast majority of farming equipment is run from diesel fuel. Okay, the huge equipment they have, okay? Play on.
Unless agriculture is front and center as part of the solution.
Now, this is former president candidate John Kerry, former U.S. Senator. He was in the military. He threw his medals before. He didn't agree. He is an ultra left-wing liberal Democrat, okay? And he has it in his mind that the world is going to end because of if it goes up 2 degrees, and it's the whole green agenda. They call it the green rules, net zero 2030 agenda, okay? And this is the reason why the farmers are so pissed off, if you will, okay? 7:15.
Contributes about 33% of all the emissions of the world.
Now, this is the speech that she started with. Now he's going to explain it in about a minute and a half, what's going on. He's going to try to convince the world of 2 degrees is going to change everything. And this is the policy that they're pushing on the whole earth, and this is what the EU has to adopt because they are in subjection to the United States, America's domain. They are part of the flock, and they're going to follow. And this is where NATO is going to begin and continue to be divided. Play. I'm going to be quiet.
Depending a little bit on how you count it, but it's anywhere from 26 to 33. And we can't get to net zero. We don't get this job done unless agriculture is front and center as part of the solution. But with a growing population on the planet, we just crossed the threshold of 8 billion fellow citizens around the world. We just crossed that in this last year. Emissions from the food system alone are projected to cause another 0.5 degree of warming by mid-century on the current course that we are today. A 2-degree future could result in an additional 600 million people not getting enough to eat.
Okay, pause it right there, real quick. So I'm gonna show you the vast difference between the far left and not that we care about damn politics. Now there's a white woman. She reminds me of a Trump Jr., but a girl. It is net zero being? It's a white woman that looked like Kelly Bundy from the
Married with Children?
Yes. So she is going to break down what there, and she is spot on what she's saying. This is what Trump basically says. So the left is like, oh no, if the world warms up, we got the scientists, the biologists, okay, and we're not going to be able to feed people. And they're not considering that, okay, you want to meet these standards for electric cars, solar, and wind, but how are you going to have industry? How are you going to have transportation and food up until the next 6 years? It's completely unrealistic. It's a farce, and it's a bunch of BS. Now, here's the opposite side, is the Republicans and their point of view, which is, believe it or not, it is more accurate. I'm not a politician, but play.
And you just can't continue to both warm the planet while also expecting to feed it. Doesn't work. So we have to reduce emissions from the food system to keep the 1.5.
If we could stop that, and can we get the video that I just mentioned?
Hey, Cap, he said we have to stop emissions from the food system. So you got to knock off people eating in order to get the carbon emissions down.
Remember that TED Talk that Bill Gates did a couple years ago?
Yeah.
They had to reduce the people.
Yep.
It's the same thing.
Now look, I done been driving all over this great country, all over the great Babylon, and I come across a lot of empty land, a lot. There's a lot of places in the United States that ain't got no people, and it's just the United States. That's it. So how the hell is it overpopulation and y'all ain't even everywhere? Because y'all stacked on top of each other in these little spaces. That's what's going on. And they're making it seem like, oh, well, you know, that's just what it is. But I remember Bishop brought out a scripture that shows the world is never overpopulated, ever.
So I just posted it for your ease of use, okay? The last one she looked like Kelly Bundy. Literally, she looks like Kelly Bundy from the picture. She's going to give a complete different view, and she's going to compare it to something that all of us in this room, all of you at home, we just went through it. Play.
Net zero plan is not actually about saving the climate or avoiding the world from being destroyed. It is a political decision that is used to crack down on people's freedom and people's rights. That's what I think net zero is. Because again, same mechanism as with COVID, but net zero is a more efficient one.
Pause. So remember with COVID, they targeted certain people with pre-existing conditions. So it did not affect, it affected a very small amount of the population. When they come with net zero, they're trying to do the boogeyman. It's going to hurt all of us. 500 million people are not going to, they're putting that fear in you. And so they're trying to get people to buy it hook, line, and sinker. In reality, it's another way to control. And this is why the farmers are so, because what's happened with the farmers, they're raising the taxes, they're taking away the stipends in Europe. These farmers are going to go belly up. Why? Think about it. Why would you take a John Deere tractor that costs $150,000 that gets 6 miles a gallon and drive it all the way to the city unless you are absolutely sure what you're standing for is correct? Wait till you see the videos about the show. This is, in history, never been done before like this. It is revolutionary what's going on with the farmers, and this is none of you know about this. We don't know what's going on because we live in a damn bubble. The United States is a friggin' fantasy world of bubble where the Negro is playing PlayStation and the newest video games. Well, this is going on in the world, and we're getting ready to hit a major recession. Okay? Yes. keep playing, please.
Because it affects all of us. If you have an entire population that is led to believe that our world will be destroyed within, Greta Thunberg in 2018 said that we would already be probably wiped off the face of the earth now. But if you get, especially the youth, to believe that, and if you get people afraid, then of course you're going to be able to implement all of these rules that will restrict our personal freedoms. This net zero plan is not actually about saving the climate or avoiding the world.
So real quick, so this is a perspective now. You might say, well, she's just a young woman and she doesn't know anything. I'm going to get a different perspective about the same thing as a gentleman named Jordan Peterson. Actually, he's a very intelligent commentator. He's a public speaker. If you've ever seen him, he's very highly intelligent. He's apolitical, but in this, he's going to speak. I also put that up there. You should be able to see it. It is Jordan Peterson. Yes. Okay. The shocking truth about net zero. Again, I'm going the long way because you need to understand at home what is net zero, how did it originate, who wrote the policy, and why is it being pushed to the entire world. That is why the farmers are in such an uproar. Okay? Then we're going to show you the uproar, and you're going to be shocked, all of you. Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. People listening might think, well, wouldn't it be good if we could move away from coal? And, I think you can make an argument on that front in some ways if you're very careful, that the careful replacement, for example, of coal with liquid natural gas might be a net good, all things considered, in some situations. And then the possible replacement of liquid natural gas, even with nuclear. But you have to be willing to allow liquid natural gas, and you need to be willing to allow and encourage nuclear. And you also have to understand that liquid natural gas is also necessary for the production of ammonia, for example, which only feeds 4 billion people. And so this notion, and everyone watching and listening should be super clear about this.
Pause real quick. So he's about to say this. Now, this guy talks very, very fast. He's extremely intelligent. If you watch some of his content, I actually think for an Edomite, I think he's all right. He's about to mention, everyone needs to listen up. He's talking about the notion of net zero actually being for the good of mankind. Listen to what he said. Remember what John Kerry said about, 2 degrees and we won't be able to feed 600 million people, 8 billion. Now you heard the white woman, you discredit her because she's young, she's blonde. Now you have a very sharp mind, and Jordan Peterson. You need to hear from the white man. That's why I'm going here. I could have put a black doctor, but they don't mean nothing. You need to hear from the white man, because in our minds, unfortunately, we are so destroyed that we'll believe him when he says it. Play it.
That net zero on the carbon front is necessary is a lie. The idea that we're going to manage it by 2030 is preposterous beyond comprehension. I mean, the Biden administration itself has already admitted that it will be 240 years with optimistic projections before we can approximate anything like net zero.
You hear what he just said? It will be almost 2.5 centuries before that would be credible, net zero, right? So these are somewhere in the middle, someone is lying. And the European Union is not going to be able to control the people of Europe. There was a thing in the 1700s called the French Revolution, where they stormed the castle, they stormed the Bastille, and you're about to see what's a revolution starting right now in Europe. We're literally starting in Europe. I'm just setting the backdraft. Go to, I want you to give me the United Nations. I'm showing you a little bit about net zero, and I'm going to show you the document. I ain't going to read the whole document. It's the United Nations headquarters, which is going to be, it's a picture of the windmill, okay? You want me to forward it to you? Okay. So this is a document that is going to talk about climate change from the United Nations, which, by the way, we know is headquartered in the United States of America. So we're going to read not the whole thing. There's a video play. I couldn't get it to play with me. Okay, disregard. Here we go. Please.
What is net zero? Put simply, net zero means cutting greenhouse gas emissions to as close to zero as possible, with any remaining emissions reabsorbed from the atmosphere by oceans and forests, for instance.
So that's why they are talking about planting so many trees. And part of it is, as you're going to see later on, they want to take some of the land and plant non-food production fruits and vegetables with trees that are you can't eat them, just so they can absorb some of that atmospheric gases. Why is it important?
The science shows clearly that in order to avert the worst impacts of climate change and preserve a livable planet, global temperature increase needs to be limited to 1.5 Celsius. The science shows clearly that in order to avert the worst impacts of climate change and preserve a livable planet, global temperature increase needs to be limited to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels.
That's what John Kerry was talking about. And this is why, remember, the science shows. So Esau is using his science to do what? To control, change policy so he could control the masses like he tried with COVID-19. They're using their science to justify what the hell they're going to do. All right? And they're doing it right now in Europe. Read on.
Currently, the Earth is already about 1.1 Celsius warmer than it was in the late 1800s, and emissions continue to rise.
What Donald Trump pointed out is this. The Earth has gone through various temperature decreases and increases based upon glacial eras and other things like that. This is a normal process of the Earth, but the liberal Democrats are making like Chicken Little. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. The world's going to end. That's why you have little white girls like, what's her name? Oh, gosh, what's the little white girl's name that she... Anyways, read on.
To keep global warming to no more than 1.5 Celsius. To keep global warming.
Okay. The science shows clearly that in order to avert the worst possible impacts of climate change and preserve livable planet, the global temperature increase needs to be limited to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Currently, the Earth is already about 1.1 degrees Celsius warmer than it was in the late 1800s, and emissions continue to rise. To keep global warming to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius, as called for in the Paris Agreement, emissions need to be reduced by 45% by 2030 and reach net zero by 2050.
So remember, Jordan Peterson said that even the Biden administration said that it would take 240 years to reach net zero. So why would you put completely unrealistic goals that could be met? The reason being is because you could control. And when you could control, you put people out of business. Now major corporations who are run by governments control food production, transportation, and distribution. What does that mean? People have no power. And this is what we're going to see. So how can net zero be achieved?
How can net zero be achieved? Transitioning to a net zero world is one of the greatest challenges humankind has faced. It calls for nothing less than a complete transformation of how we produce, consume, and move about.
Think about it. A complete transformation, everything that came from the late 1700s, from horse and buggy to plane to car to train, all of that in the last 150 years, you're trying to change all of that to go electric, wind, and solar in 6 years? And then by 2050? No. Again, this is more effective than COVID. That white woman was right. You get everyone thinking the world's going to end, and now you could set unrealistic, egregious policies, and you can enforce it because you got the public believing everyone is going to be in danger. Read on.
The energy sector is the source of around 3/4 of greenhouse gas emissions today and holds the key to averting the worst effects of climate change. Replacing polluting coals, gas, and oil-fueled power with energy from renewable sources such as wind or solar would dramatically reduce carbon emissions.
Right. So now, some of the things is just to kind of, it's a little bit dry, but they want to make not only all the buses, the government vehicles electric, also all of the farming equipment and even military tanks, which is, And they want all this by 2050, 2030. They want to reduce the. So just keep in mind, this is a United Nations document. Now, I want you to pull up the actual document from the United States. It's 65 pages. We're only going to look at a couple of just paragraphs. This is where it's coming from. It is coming from Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great knows that their time is up and they're going to war. They're going to try to punish the Israelites. And why are they going to do that? Because their time is running out. So they're creating unrealistic. So they'll oppress their own people. They don't give a damn. This is the end of their kingdom. Okay? Yes. Just started the first one. The first one. We're going to scroll down. See, preface or summary, just the beginning, just so we can get an understanding. That's all we need. Be with us. Bear with us. We're one tech guy short. They're doing the best they can.
In the United States and around the world, we are already feeling the impacts of a changing climate. Here at home in 2021, alone we have seen historic droughts of wildfires in the West, unprecedented storms and flooding in the Southeast, and record heat waves across the country. We see the same devastating evidence around the world in places like the fire-ravaged Amazon, the sweltering urban center of Delhi, and the shrinking coastlines of island nations like Tuvalu. The science is clear.
Skip to the next where it says the time is now. This is the preface for a 65-page document that this right here is being pushed on the entire world. This is why they're outraged in Paris, France, in Brussels, Belgium, in Naples, Italy, so on and so forth, because this policy to get to net zero by 2050, by 2030, to reduce the carbon output is so, again, read.
The time is now for decisive action, and the United States is boldly tackling the climate challenge.
They're telling you the U.S. is behind it. Babylon is behind all of the policies that are affecting. It's not affecting the United States like it's affecting Europe. It is affecting the European Union, all the countries. Read.
In 2021, we rejoined the Paris Agreement, set an ambitious national determined contribution to reduce net greenhouse gas emissions by 50 to 52% in 2030.
That is 6 years away. You're trying to cut what you have now by 50%. That is so, anybody that understands, that's why Jordan Peterson was being so very, 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 he was being facetious, but 240 years, everyone knows it. Trump, it calls them out. You can't do it. You couldn't reduce it by 10% by 2030, okay? There's too much industry. There's too many diesel engine vehicles. You can't do it. Okay. All right. Wait. Scroll down. Just keep going. So I just want them to see. So it's executive summary. So this is at executive level. Scroll down. I just want you to see the number of pages. And we ain't got to read it. So if you look, it keeps going. Just show them. Just keep going. You got graph chart, pie chart, all this. It keeps the United States of America, led by your Democratic. All right, this is all to put fear in all these other leaders in the world to do exactly what the U.S. wants them to do, so that they could control, put farmers out of business, put small companies out of business. So why? It will be big business, big government, and they could control you and me. And why? Because when you lose control and the people run, you can't set your policy. They have to regain control towards the end of their kingdom. Go ahead, Osman.
That's dangerously on the borderline of communism, ain't it, Cap?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. You want to control everything and give people what you think they should have. That sounds like communism. And that's what the United States has been fighting since what? Since Castro and Russia, since they was fighting the Cold War. Oh, the communists this and the communists that. Sounds to me like they're turning directly into that.
Hey, so now we're going to change gears. I wanted you to see a little bit dry. Why what we're about to watch? Why are these farmers doing things that are completely outrageous, completely incredible. It's because of these net zero policies. And what's happening is they used to get, they sent as much money to the Ukraine war from the European countries as they did in subsidies to the farmers. The European Union subsidizes almost $500 billion. They have to subsidize the farmers to make food. As soon as they take the free money, the grant money, away from the European farmers, they can't operate at all. This is why they're going, wait till you see, they're going crazy. When I first, I said, what the hell? This can't be, it is literally what you're about to watch is absolutely true, okay? You good? All right. That's it on that. You saw that. Now we're going to get to, hey, pull up, if we can pull up, I'm going to skip the white woman. I mean, our girl at the, let's go right to the videos. Let's start with France. Then we're going to go to Bible verse that needs to be short tonight. Linebacker is going to be short tonight because when we come back after break, we're going to show you all of what's going on with the actual in-country protest, okay? Okay. Okay, while we wait, do me a favor. Okay. So this is in France, so you got to look at this. So what's going on here, right, is they're using, now that blue tractor was from a farm somewhere far away. Do you think that the guy that driving the truck, do you think that he's for or against this? Actually, you might think he will. I got to get to the transportation is on the side of the farmers. And they're working together, which you're going to see later on, to destroy and stop the transference of commerce throughout these countries. So look at this. They set on fire. There's a tractor's tipping the truck over, okay?
I wonder where the white people are that says, why would they destroy their own things? Because they're upset. Don't they do that to us?
Right.
and here's the point. That's a hell of a point because listen to this. The reason why that's such a valid point is because white people are being hurt right now. Their pockets are being hurt right now, and this is the reason why. Because their big brother, the greatest of the flock, Babylon the Great, is putting policies in place when they blew the Nord Stream pipeline, when they're the backing behind the Ukraine war. When Russia was giving them resources and commodities, they didn't have problems. And all the people, when the war first started, we showed you videos, they were protesting, NATO gotta go, in all their own language. That was 2 years ago. And this is the culmination of the high prices and rerouting their natural resources. They can't depend on Russia anymore. This is the effect of that. And the United States could have shut that war down. Trump said I could end the Ukraine war in one day. They want the war. This is they're going to cripple Europe. Anyways, play on. I'm doing it. I'm holding my breath again. Yeah, so now when we play these videos, brothers, please, we got the backstage mentioned. Y'all pulled some great videos. We want to show and speak on the fact of what's going on in these videos. Y'all got to bear with us tonight. It is doing the best we can.
Farmers all over France have been dumping hay and loads of manure in front of government buildings and popular sites and using heavy farm equipment to block the entrance to major...
So they've been dumping hay and manure all over government buildings in France. You got hay and doo-doo all over government buildings, and they're using tractors and farm equipment to block the highways.
Oh. Look up tractor speed limit. I'm gonna show.
Right.
I'm gonna show you how to determine this beast. I'm from Texas. I know how. 25 miles per hour. That's as fast you gonna get them. You gotta wake up. When we used to go out there, all the acres, 22 acres of land, you had to get up early. You gotta let the diesel tractor warm up. It don't go fast. It's not a Ferrari. You getting Look, fact check me. You getting about 25 miles to 30 miles per. Some speed limits 25 miles per hour. You see a cow cross. What is it? Boom. Most modern tractors go roughly 25 miles at top speed. That's all you getting. And then to Officer Matthews' point, it was a convoy of them lined up to block the streets and dump manure and hay. So imagine backwards planning what time you had to get up to go dump this cow manure and this hay on the highway.
Exactly.
Right. And also, to your point, this is the point, because they're protesting on highways and in urban areas. Farms are not in the urban areas.
Nope.
The amount of resources that they have to commit to in burning diesel fuel, this shows you that they are all on one page and they've had enough. They didn't just wake up and say, this has been building, and it really started at the peak of it once the Ukraine went to war. Russia so-called invaded Ukraine, and they Putin says, okay, you want to mess with us? You're not getting any more cheap gas, no more cheap crude oil to make diesel, all these. And that crippled the European country. It crippled them. Now you're seeing farmers that are risking everything. It's either all or nothing, because if these subsidies do not get repushed out to them, if they do not get tax breaks, they cannot run their farms. Yep. This is why you got white people who normally like to get involved. They are riding their tractors dozens and dozens of miles at 25 miles an hour at the most in convoys, and guess what? They can get arrested. They don't care. They're pushing everything to the limit, because it's either all or nothing. They're going to lose their farm, and now they got to change everything. They got to sell the land. Who's going to buy the land?
Right.
It's going to be these large conglomerate corporations that are going to come in and buy this land, and you're going to have mass-produced farms.
Yep.
And guess what? They're going to control the price of everything you buy. To your point, it's like a modern-day communistic takeover. In the guise of democracy. Because why? They're trying to get to net zero. Again, you got to see what's going on here. And the white man in America, they're the ones that's pushing everything. That's how you know, Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. Esau, the flock is being divided, man. You got it, and we're living it right now, okay? Someone did one with the whole fleet of tractors.
There was more in that video. Go back. Hey, what you about to say, Miguel?
I was about to say is the best way for them to get to net zero is to kill off the population. The easiest way to kill off the population is to control the food and give you BS food that's going to kill you.
Yeah, to control the prices. Watch, keep playing.
Like Paris. But why?
Aujourd'hui, la profession, elle n'en peut plus, elle est asphyxiée.
Wait, just read that.
Farmers say they're overwhelmed by regulations and bureaucracy.
Farmers say that they're overwhelmed by regulations and bureaucracy, and it's happening while climate change and agricultural supply issues are only fueling tensions.
Stop. That just goes to your point, Cap. We was just bringing out that net zero thing. The whole net zero thing and the politics behind it is directly affecting the farmers and what they need, the subsidies that they need to keep on going. It's affecting them directly. Keep on playing.
In agriculture knows it's an extremely time-consuming industry that requires a lot of money and patience while following a long list of regulations. France has been focusing on creating more climate-conscious rules to try to help the industry overall. But for farmers, some of those efforts end up costing them money and time they simply don't have if they want to be able to actually grow and sell their products. Farmers say many of the regulations are excessive and suffocating and actually make it harder for them to adapt to a changing climate. In some cases, it takes farmers an entire day just to fill out forms to get financial help from the European Union.
Stop.
Damn.
Come on now. Mm-hmm. You can't work your land for 24 hours because you stuck filling out paperwork on regulations that go against you anyway. Meanwhile, and she's going to say it, meanwhile, they're going to other countries and letting them export their goods into France.
Yep.
And now France is buying outside of their people, and their farmers are like, what the hell?
Right. And here's the thing, to your point, they're getting it imported from South America, which crosses the entire. Now that's burning CO2 in the atmosphere.
Yep.
And you've got all these landlocked. Europe is landlocked. The continent of Europe is landlocked. And these farmers, if they got the subsidies from the government, they could continue to grow. Guess where a lot of that money went? To the war in Ukraine. Billions and billions of dollars. That's why they were protesting right after the Ukraine war started in all these European countries. We covered it on this show multiple times. We covered week after week. NATO's got to go in their own language. People were in the tens of thousands in Germany and Italy and Czechoslovakia boycotting their own governments. Now we see the culmination and the manifestation of the lack of cheap resources, and they're getting hit hard. Now, real quick, Officer Matt, you posted one. No farm. It's 15 seconds. Look at the convoy of tractors. It's only a quick video. Let's just look at it a couple times. You got this is amazing, man. It says farmers protest. Tractor army.
Those are John Deere tractors. That's a 320-gallon tank on those tractors.
So let's just look. If you think about, can you pause it? If you think about, again, Micah mentioned earlier, these tractors, the amount of fuel, the amount of time lost on the farm, the amount of coordination needed to get that convoy together, to do that, they literally are protesting for their entire livelihood. And I've never heard of nothing like this. I've never seen anything like this. None of us in our lifetime have even heard of something like this. And why is this not being put on every newspaper every day? If this was going on in the United States of America, it would be all over the world. Why? Because the U.S. does not want you to see that the end of the world is coming soon. The United Nations, the NATO nations are realizing that the policies that are being pushed to them come from the U.S. and the European countries and the European white people, they're the ones that's suffering, okay? And that's why all this. By the way, if these were black people, they'd all be in jail. They'd find a way to bring they'd find a way to the national armies and they would lock them up. Because they're white people, they get away with all this, by the way, just to be clear. They're not getting arrested. They get away with all. If this was black people in a white country, they'd be done. And notice they're not going to, most of these farmers, they don't show that they're people of color. They're Caucasians. And they're not going to do a damn thing to these Caucasians. And they haven't done it. They haven't locked any of them up yet, okay? Play on. Okay. Hey, look, Israel, we got to pause here. We're running behind. Forgive us. A little tough, even tech team. We're going to go to Officer Mikael with the Bible verses. Go to our break. Come back with Kingdom Music. We're going to do the second half of the show and then hit Lar back attack. Thank you for your patience tonight. Shalom.
The streets to bring it out, they don't like that. No count, we ain't lying, we ain't fly, yeah. A roaring lion crouching down, they don't like that. The driver Judah, watch us do this, we gon' fight back. Yeah, your pastor know we.
Hey, Shalom, Israel, Most High Christ blessed. Hey, this is your brother, Officer Mikael, and this is the Bible versus Black Men in Dresses. Play the video for me.
Black man putting on a dress conversation.
You talking to a black man that put on a dress?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. That conversation to me it's silly, because it's a negative thing that is only in black people. We have, for some reason, been programmed to look down on the craziest parts about our experience, that we're supposed to not embrace our past, not embrace our history, not embrace our heroes, not embrace our different levels of comedy, that we have to be this way. When Robin Williams puts on a dress and is Mrs. Doubtfire, he gets nominated for an Oscar, and white people think it's brilliant. His community embraces him. When Dustin Hoffman puts on a dress in Tootsie and he wins an Oscar, he's labeled brilliant. When black people put on dresses, all of a sudden we're labeled by our own people like something negative. And I'm like, we did White Chicks. That's a classic movie. Mm-hmm. it's a classic. I don't care what nobody says. It's a classic.
Everyone says it's a classic.
That whole thing about, you know, you put on a dress and you selling out, that is not an artist's mindset. When you're an artist, you know, you go out and you create art.
So, Marlon Wayans, Lord's will, the brother can repent, but right now, what he just said was dumb as hell. Give me Ecclesiastes 10:6, because this is what's going on right here. This is what he's doing. Ecclesiastes 10:6.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10 and verse 6. Folly is set in great dignity.
It says, folly is set at great dignity. He just talked about Robin Williams being in the dress and winning an Oscar. Dustin Hoffman being in the dress, winning an Oscar. Like wearing a dress for a man is something great. Read that again.
Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich set in low places.
The rich is talking about the Israelites. We're set in low places because guess what? Wesley Snipes ain't win no Oscar when he put on the dress. You ain't win no Oscar when you put on the dress, Marlon Wayans. Ving Rhames ain't win the Oscar when he put on the dress. You know what y'all got? You got demasculated and humiliated. And you got a paycheck. Well, guess what God says? Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 5.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Women shouldn't be wearing pants.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God.
God says the black man should not be wearing a dress. It is an abomination. He created you to be a man. He didn't create you to be running around here wearing a dress and acting like Medea. He said, be a man. Gird up your loins manfully. That's what the Bible says. And he says you will be an abomination if you go outside with that. Give me Isaiah 54 and 17, because he talked about our history and legacy. This is our history and our legacy.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 54 and verse 17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn.
Right.
This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord.
So our heritage and our righteousness is that we should keep the commandments, and no weapon formed against us shall prosper. And guess what? One of those weapons is that evil communication of putting our black men in dresses. And look, this has been the Bible versus black men in dresses. Y'all stay tuned for more after this.
The streets to bring it out, they don't like that. No doubt, we ain't lying, we ain't fly, yeah. A roaring lion crouching down, they don't like that. The trouble you to watch us do this, we gon' fight back. Yeah, your pastor know we lying, talking about he know the
You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in. Going in, going all in. Going all in. I'm going in, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in.
The Messiah is a savior and a conqueror.
diamonds. That's the green king. Let's go.
Hey, Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ. Bless Officer Matt here with Kingdom Music. Look, go to Original Royalty. All right, get the music. Y'all want righteous music? We got it. We got music for every occasion. And just to show you that, we're going to get into tonight's video from Royalty Duo from the album Marriage. Hey, that album went #1 in the UK too. Just in case you want to know. It was actually on the top 10 chart. So, look, we're going to get into this next video right now.
All this every day stressing that we do. And it's safe to say that it's only a matter of time for change to come. The things that we go through, the trials you're facing too, is worth it. So worth it, yeah. Just let them see you smile, 'cause in due time it's worth it. I wanna live. I wanna live forever. I wanna live forever and ever. I wanna live forever, yeah. Oh, I wanna live forever. I want to live forever.
We found what the world is searching for, and we can't let it go, no. Peace of mind once we fly away from here to a place we know. So I'ma do what I gotta do. And we will know what it was all for. We gotta endure so we can live. I wanna live forever. I wanna live forever. I wanna live forever and ever. I wanna live forever.
praise to the Most High, man. Look, that's my brother and my sister, royalty duo. Man, incredible music. I might have a song with one or two or both of them. Who knows? You'll see in the future. But that's been Officer Matt with Kingdom Music. Shalom.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the king. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the king. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the king. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, shalom. Welcome back to Precept Upon Precept. Don't forget to like, subscribe to our YouTube page, share our content. So what are we going over tonight? Show the thumbnail if you can real quick. The flock of Esau. The flock of Esau is divided. Farmers are striking and more. And Officer Mikhail put together that with some great AI technology showing you that these are Edomites being affected by their big brother Babylon the Great, a.k.a. the Great Whore. All right, now, go to that where it says multiple countries, and if you could, pull up a map of Europe. I want the multiple countries first, and then get a map of Europe. You know, it doesn't have to be right away. All right, so we're going to pull up that. Okay, we're going to play the whole video, and then we're going to come back and comment.
Tractors barricading highways, manure dumped at government buildings, tires on fire from France to Brussels to Greece to Portugal, farmers erupting in protests across the continent.
Right perfect. Go back a little bit. I'm sorry. So when you look on the nightly news, right, or if you look right there, they would have you to believe it's 3 or 4 countries. That is not true. It is going on in Greece. It is going on in Belgium. It is going on in France and Italy. By the way, France is the second largest economy in the entire European continent. It is also going on in the following countries. And there's actually, here's a list of ones we have: France, Ireland, Greece, Finland, Belgium, Portugal, Germany, Luxembourg, Spain, and there is even more than that. It is almost every European country that this is happening in. And if you think about the logistics, these farmers don't all know each other. They have learned to coordinate using social media to get their tractors that cannot go more than 25 miles an hour, driving them miles and miles and miles to the cities, blocking off highways. And guess what? All of this is because of the policies set up and having to be upheld by the United States of America, because the U.S. runs NATO. The EU does not run NATO. The U.S. runs everything. Play on.
Across the continent.
Time is up. Think of the farmers.
They're rallying for things like better pay and more protection against cheap imports as energy and fertilizer costs spike because of Russia's war in Ukraine.
So, Officer Matt, you were about to say something because you hit on something earlier.
Hey, they said that they was protesting because of low-cost imports. That's what they mad at. I mean, I'm a farmer in France or Italy or Belgium or any of these places, and you're going to go past me to get food from somebody else, and I'm not going to get paid for my product that I'm spending my hard-earned time and money doing? Oh, no, I'm going to be pissed off.
So pissed off to the point where you will go, and this is why it's not just the farmers. It's also these trucking industries. We got a video, and I don't know where it's at, where there's an 18-wheeler with a huge, giant trailer full of wine, and he just dumps it all over the highway. That's not a farmer. They're all they're back crazy to the point where they're willing to lose it all because they're standing on what they believe in. Because if this goes through and they don't get the stipends, they keep getting cheap imports. They don't get them tax breaks. They're mostly all these farmers, they're going to go under, meaning they can't do business anymore. So what do? Do you keep the land? You gotta save something. They're gonna sell the land because they can't work the land. You got 50 acres of land. You're not farming on it. You're going to sell it. Who's going to have the money to buy it? These huge corporations. Again, it goes back to the same thing with COVID-19. You know how many mom and pop stores shut down after COVID-19? Look at the city of New Orleans, all over the place. Look at your towns. This is why you hear these Republicans talking about taking away the individual freedoms. That's exactly what they're doing.
Hey, Cap, to your point, what you just said, I know a lot of brothers lost their businesses. A lot of small entrepreneurs, a lot of small businesses, they lost everything when that COVID hit because they put so many restrictions out that they couldn't keep on running.
Right.
So a lot of brothers was forced to close down on their profitable, independent entrepreneur business that they had going. And now, after COVID, I mean, they got to go back to the factory.
Think of how crazy it was. Remember, they'd put percentages. Only 25% of the MAC occupancies could come in the restaurant.
Yep.
Then they say you can open up your restaurant, but you only can eat outdoors. And people were getting so frustrated. People were getting arrested because they would open up the restaurant or open up certain things. And it was getting to the point where you couldn't do business anymore. And we saw time after time again. And to the point now, people got so depressed and so demoralized. Now the economy picked up. They can't find people to fill positions. There's an abundance of jobs that are not being filled right now. Now, real quick, I'm sorry, play on. I want to go back to that. Okay, thank you, sir.
Rising as farmers egg government buildings and police hose down protesters with water cannons. EU leaders addressing the farmers at a summit with sympathy and understanding.
Pause. This is the irony. The EU leaders, as much as they want to fight for the people, their hands are 100% tied with who, audience? With the United States of America. This is why when France tried to get into BRICS, they applied, they were shut down. Do you remember when France actually started to trade with the Chinese in the yen?
Yep.
They're saying, listen, this is too much, but they get pulled back in because NATO's main force is the United. I'm telling y'all, this is biblical. This is what's going to bring about world. The European Union, all of this is going to play. They're going to go against Babylon the Great. And the people are going to rise up and watch you. This ain't nothing yet. This is crazy. This is nothing. Wait till year 4 and 5 after Ukraine war. Watch. And this is what all these Edomites are doing their last push. Okay, time is short. Play on.
Proposals were pretty scarce. And it's not just farmers. Workers in Finland leading massive protests.
Pause. I'm sorry. I forgot about Finland. So the list of European countries is like 10. Finland is another one. Finland is now here's the staunch opposite. Italy is the very bottom of Europe. Finland is the most northern part. So you would think, well, maybe it's compartmentalized to a certain region in Europe. Nope, because Ireland is the complete northwest in Great Britain, which is an island. Then you got Finland at the very top, Italy at the very bottom, Greece at the bottom right, Spain and Portugal at the bottom left. And guess what? All of them are doing the same thing. And it's not just the farmers, it's the transport workers and a lot of other. Go ahead, Micah, please.
You hit it right on the head, Cap. I was about to say, our people may think it's just the guy driving the tractor on the farm. But you got to get a guy with a tractor trailer to come pick up those loads and to transport them to factories so they can distribute it. They losing money too because they can't, nothing to pick up. They not producing. That's why they out there protesting as well because they ain't got no work.
And to your point, a lot of brothers that we know in the body and other brothers we know in the world, they have their owner operators. and probably 95% or more, it's probably closer to 100%, their vehicles or their semis run on diesel fuel. And a lot of them, when they bring these net zero policies to even to the U.S., they're going to make them stop driving diesel vehicles. You know how much an electric semi is going to cost? And by the way, furthermore, how many places can you charge a semi? And how long does it and how many batteries do you need in a semi? All these things are going to shut things down. And the people are not going to take it. This is the first wave. This is the first wave. Y'all got to see it coming.
Hey, and just like who was the Edomite? The one that said that the net zero thing was a lie.
Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson. Yes. The reason why I can understand him saying that it's a lie and it's a ploy in order to, you know, us to give up our freedoms. The United States is one of the most military-minded countries on the face of the planet. Why would you make everything electric and all you need is an EMP blast to stop you? Right. Like why would you that's not even feasible that you would make everything electric so that everything can shut down unless you want to control who you can shut down.
Right. And Trump, this is why, hey, listen, this is why a lot of us brothers, we like Trump, because Trump say what's on his mind. Trump's like, okay, you know how he talks. Okay, you know, so I got a new tank, it's electric, I'm driving in battle, and I get there, and I look good, and now I can't fight. Trump is he's the man. You gotta get, he's a funny guy. The same way he does with Biden. Okay, get up the steps, I gotta take a left, there's 2 steps, 1, 2, I gotta go down the steps. Trump is he's not politically. I sound like I'm a Trump guy. I'm not, but Trump is a realist, and he sees through all the BS of what they're trying to do. Yeah. Okay, they did it with COVID. They're doing it with the net zero, and they're going to change policies. They're gonna, and when you start messing with the farmers and you mess with transportation, guess what? You mess with people now. And when Esau is not getting what he needs, they are going to go against their government. Who the hell drops manure on the steps of a Capitol building and gets away with it? Because Esau, guess what? They're not going to do that to their own people. Right. And the division's going to come, and guess what? They're going to put so much pressure on the administrators or the presidents and governments of these countries. They're going to be they're going to face a revolution. They're going to be forced to go against NATO. Watch, play on.
With their government.
We are seeing the biggest political strikes and labor demonstrations for a very long time.
Businesses shut down and empty airports with more than 500 flights canceled. That's what the country looks like right now.
So real quick, so that was 500 flights canceled. That was not weather related. That was February 1st and 2nd of 2024. Empty airports, not empty, not an empty plane, empty airports. This is a crisis over there. You got farmers with friggin' tractor platoons going to the Capitol, dropping hay, lighting tires on fire in front of these people's office buildings. This is mind-blowing. This is crazy. Why isn't this being reported? This is international news of unlike anything they've seen in the world. When have you ever seen something like this before? And the U.S. is absolutely keeping you black people 100% with your head in the friggin' clouds. Yep. Okay? Play on. We almost done.
That's what the country looks like right now as hundreds of thousands strike. So why is it happening here? The big union says Finland's right-wing government is proposing social welfare changes, like cutting benefits and wages for unemployed people by hundreds of euros a month.
Real quick. So, again, now we're switching. This is Finland. Finland is in north of Europe. Remember. The reason why it's affecting other departments and cutting different agencies' funding is because when you have to get your commodities, what is a commodity? A commodity is your food, your fuel, things you need to live. Once your commodities go skyrocketing up, why? Because you can't get the resources from Russia anymore at a decent price. Everything changes. And what you're going to see, there's going to be revolutions in, like the French Revolution, there's going to be that level. The leaders are going to say, we got to do something about it. The history repeats itself. This is when you're going to start to see. They're going to have you're going to have meetings, and they're going to start rejecting. You're going to see it in the news. Watch, and we're going to come. It's going to come to war These European countries are going to go to war with Esau here in Babylon. And you might say, well, no, the flock is divided. That's why we named the show. The flock of Esau is divided. And they all know, the white people all know it's the white men in America that's making them go through this. That's why they're doing it. When they blew the Nord Stream pipeline, it caused, and then they got closer with NATO. We did shows on NATO, how they encroached. Remember Kazakhstan? Yep. That was the tip of the iceberg. Russia said, hold up, you move on, we're going to go. And that they did their promise. That the U.S. knew what they were doing. When they blew the Nord Stream pipeline, they wasn't thinking of their dear brothers in Europe. Nope. They knew what was going to happen. They didn't give a damn. It's what they want to do to run their policy. Y'all got to really see this. This is geopolitics, geographical politics that is taking the world by storm. It's bringing in World War III, and we in America are literally, we're ignorant to what's going on. This should be, yes.
Remember, Cap, what they said during that time when they blew up the pipeline, and Europe was looking for help with the fuel and all of that stuff, the oil, and they said, hey, shipping crisis. Y'all on your own. You're on your own. We can't do anything over here. There's a shipping crisis. Remember, we can't do anything. So you're on your own.
Remember, and we did shows on that. If those of you watched the Late Show, we did shows, the biggest shipping crisis in 50 years. They're off the coast of Long Beach, California. They had like 50 barges waiting to get in. It was crazy. Then you had even in New Orleans, the port of New Orleans. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. All these different ports was because why? It's what Esau caused. He caused all that confusion and division. Why? Because he had COVID regulations. You couldn't get people to work the dock. You couldn't get people to do it because all these standards and regulations he put in place. The same thing with net zero. You put all these things. You take away funding. You put this red tape. You put this. You make a farmer 24 hours to fill out, and you get this, which we're about to see next. Pull up the map of Europe real quick, if you could. We're almost done. 15 more minutes. So now, please take your pointer. Y'all, I'm working on me talking fast and holding my breath. I'm trying to get a lot of it. Go to Finland at the top next to Russia. So, don't you think Finland really appreciated getting? Finland shares a giant border with Russia.
Yes.
So now you can't get your resources from your neighbor? These Finnish people know that Russia is not the problem. The problem is the white man in America. Let's go down a little bit. Let's go down to Poland. Look how big Poland they're also doing the same thing in Poland. Now, can we scroll down to the left to Germany in orange? Germany is a very large country. Germany is the fourth largest economy in the entire planet Earth. The number one economy in Europe by far. Germany, it's happening throughout the entire country. So scroll down.
And remember, Germany relied on the Nord Stream pipeline the most out of all of those countries.
Right.
So look, go right above Germany. That's a place called Denmark. Denmark, we got a video on that coming up. Denmark, look at that peninsula. They were heavily dependent on Russia because they can go through the Baltic Sea and they could ship directly from Russia around. You see the Baltic Sea, the Gulf of Ragar, it looks like. That was all changed. Now Denmark is beholden to other sources. Oh, yeah, they can pretty much go up and around. Yep, there's Russia.
Yep, right there to St. Petersburg.
So let's really think about now. Again, let's go now to what they call the United Kingdom. So that giant island is called the United Kingdom. Next to it in green is Ireland. Ireland is a giant peninsula, okay? And they're doing it in Ireland. So they're not even connected to the continental European, continental Europe. This, like, for example, the United States has Hawaii and Alaska. It's the same thing. The Great Britain is that Hawaii and Alaska it's not a peninsula, it's a complete island, forgive me. I thought it was, the Ireland is a complete island, but it's part of Europe, and part of that is they're doing the same thing that they're doing in Germany. Now scroll down a little bit. This is the one, really, where the most of it's happening is in France. Go to France. France in brown. A lot of this has taken place. A lot of it started in France. France is the second largest economy in Europe. It is absolutely a power in the earth, right? And France is really getting hit hard. We're going to show you videos of that. Scroll down to your left. You have the Iberian Peninsula, which is comprised of Spain and Portugal. We got a video in Spain and Portugal. So we are showing you extreme opposites. We're showing you Ireland. We're showing you the Iberian Peninsula. We showed you the two largest countries. Go down to Italy, the giant boot. It's happening in Italy as well. Okay? Scroll to your right. The orange, Greece, all the islands of Greece. It's happening in Greece. Scroll up a little bit. It was all in Romania. It's happening in Romania as well. So it's almost all of the prominent economies. This transportation strikes, these farmers going bat crazy, is happening all over Europe. But yet you think it's just happening, a couple tractors. No, this is a revolution that's going on over there in Europe. And it is predicated because the budget that they get to subsidize farmers, they're sending tens of billions of dollars to the Ukraine war. And it's kind of a slap in your face, because if the Ukraine war never would have happened, they would have got their resources.
Yep.
And then after that, now you're striking because you can't get the very thing that the people did not want. The people in Europe did not want war with Russia. Just like in the United States, the American people did not want Gulf War II.
Yep.
They protest. In the United Nations, they said, you can't go to war. And who was the president at the time?
Bush.
He said, we're going anyways. He did it right in front of the whole world.
Yep.
And then they televised the war on TV. The point is, the white man in America is Babylon the Great. We're living in the last days, and this is the culmination. If you don't think the Bible is a real book, something is wrong with you. We're going to show you more. Look what's going on. When white people start driving tractors and dumping doo-doo on the steps of the Capitol, lighting tires on fire, okay, we living in the end of the world.
Yep.
Okay?
Hey, Cal.
Go.
There's a reason they're not showing it here in the United States, because the farmers here in the United States are actually going through some of the same things. They subsidize them. They try to close down their farms and make them sell their land to the large companies. And they don't want the farmers here getting in their ideas. Could you imagine farmers here driving from Tupelo to Peoria, Illinois, and dumping doo-doo?
Right.
Hey, that just brings an interesting point. Remember, Cap, last year we was doing shows. Remember that the train accidents with all of the farm equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They had the toxic chemical accidents that was going on. The chicken plants that was getting blown up.
crashes into chicken factories.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't, we don't know what's really going on. This all could be a setup. But can I get a script real quick?
Of course.
Get Revelation 17:16.
Been
This
holding it
goes
all
to
night.
show you. This goes to show you why the 10 horns are going to hate the whore. Read that. Revelation 17:16.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
So if the 10 horns is going to hate the whore, why? Could it be that they messing with their food and their money and their resources and their way of living? Could it be that? Because that would make anybody go to war with somebody. You start to mess with their food, how they feed themselves and their families. Oh, no, you got to go. And that's exactly what's going to happen in Babylon.
They will even turn on their big brother, the United States of America, because they're part of the same family. Whether you're a French Caucasian, a German, a Dutch, a Finnish Caucasian, they are all part of the Caucasian race known as the Idumeans or Edomites. Excuse me, slip of the tongue. Now, go to, we're going to go, we didn't start till like 9:45, you all, so go to the, you can get out of that video. I want you to go down to European Union, which is the Al Jazeera English, pretty good news source. We're going to play the first 2 minutes, and then we're going to go 4:30. Yes, sir. All right, we're just trying to cram it in. By the way, we're going to continue this next week. Y'all watch this. Y'all check out what's going. You have to go search this. You have to go to certain news out. You have to go to YouTube and literally search and do a refined search, and then they'll bring it up. They're not just going to put it in your face. Okay?
Furious farmers drive their protests home to the European Union, and more demonstrations are planned in their revolt against high costs, EU climate change policies, food imports, and support for Ukraine. So, what political impact could their action have? This is Inside Story. Hello, welcome to the program. I'm Adrian Finnegan. Spring is usually a time for farmers to get busy on the land. The season is still a few weeks away in Europe, but many farmers are already...
Real quick. I know, Officer Mikey, you grew up on a farm, right? And before plant time, there's a lot of logistics that got to be accomplished, right? Wouldn't you taking a tractor, taking 2-3 days, filling up your 320-gallon tank, driving however many dozens of miles to the city to light tires on fire, wouldn't that take away from your livelihood?
Yes. Yes, Cap. Big time. Because you got to think, I got a 25-gallon tank on my truck. If I let it run to E, I'm spending just 25-gallon tank of diesel. I'm spending roughly about 125 to 130 bucks for fuel. That's just 25 gallons. You got 325-gallon tank. So that little 125 looks real small when you got a convoy. And you got to think, because this is a convoy of cars behind them. They blow, hey, get out of the way, you jack. And they cussing them out and everything because this tractor's barely moving. And he's got 4 or 5 of them behind him. Them people got to get to work. And them tractors is barely moving down the highway.
This is why I'm telling y'all, this is a next level what's going on here. And again, this is Al Jazeera English. Y'all should check Al Jazeera out. You should check Routers out. Check these other non-American news outlets, and you can find stuff on YouTube. You've got to search. You got to do refined searches, and then when you find something, you got to play with the wording to be able to get certain things. They're not just going to pop up. This is why it takes a long time to research for this, because you got to really look for things. Okay, play on.
A different furrow, protesting in various countries. They say that EU policies, which national governments must enforce, could put many of them out of business. EU directives on climate change, granting Ukraine access to EU markets.
You heard that? And you keep hearing the same pattern. Climate change, a.k.a. net zero standards, and the war in Ukraine. So when you take the money from the farmers, redirect it, and this is just being general, to Ukraine, and then tax them more, because why? You're trying to get them to get off of diesel. When you do these things, you are literally going to put them out of business, to the point where you're seeing all across Europe, farmers are doing the same thing in such mannerisms that really is criminal what they're doing, and they're not being arrested. Why? Because a lot of the people in the country are all behind them. The people, I know Micah said, oh, people are, honking the horns, but a lot of the people are cheering on these farmers because the farmers are standing up, okay, because they have a political voice. Because guess what's coming up in July? All of the elections in Europe are coming up in this summer. This summer. And a lot of these European officials have got to make a decision. Do they want to stay up? They better start listening to these farmers and the people. They better start listening to the transportation industry, okay? Play on.
Fuel costs and deals allowing more imports of food from outside the EU are all being blamed. So is European farming really under threat, or is this just grandstanding from a well-organized lobby group? What are the political implications for the EU if the protests continue? And what impact could they have on the EU's climate change plans? We'll be asking our guests these questions and more in a few moments after a report from Paul Ging on why farmers are on the streets.
Farmers are so again, we showed you a map. He's going to tell you a couple of the different places. This is one of the many countries that this is going on. And remember, the guy said before, in a couple of weeks is the beginning of plant season. Play on.
Europe have been taking to the streets, leaving their farms for cities to bring their anger to the doorsteps of national governments and the EU. They're furious about EU policies adopted by their own governments. They also...
You hear that? The people are furious about EU policies. One of the policies of the EU under NATO was to support the war in Ukraine. Another policy of NATO and the EU is to go net zero. The European Union did not create net zero. We showed you a document. The United States of America created net zero, net 30, net zero by 2050, and reduced by 50 to 52% by 2030. The U.S. is setting all that in place. The people in Europe, mostly Caucasians, are infuriated with what's going on. And to your scripture you brought out is spot on. What would make the 10 horns hate the great whore? They're both part of the same beast. What divides a beast? Well, you think about this as in the spirit. Go ahead and take two dogs that live together and try to take one of his food. They will fight their own mother. They will fight their own father for food. This is that beast Esau. Okay? Play on.
Their new environmentally friendly green policies to cut greenhouse gases, as well as the knock-on effects of the Ukraine war and EU food imports threatening their livelihoods and their very existence in farming.
Next time, yeah, thank you. We almost done, y'all. We have a couple other videos we're going to show you. And by the way, next week, Lord Will Life Last, we're going to just jump right into it. We're going to show you all the updated protests. We're going to get an ongoing list of every country in the EU where this is going on with updated videos. So you can see real time what's going on. Because guess what? You're not going to get this anywhere else. Okay? Play.
We're delighted to have two elected members of different parliaments with us to discuss matters further today. From Dublin, we're joined by Michael Fitzmaurice, an independent member of the Irish Parliament, who's a farmer himself and was elected as an advocate for farmers and
We're
rural...
going to focus on this guy. This guy, remember we showed you in the map, is Ireland is actually an island that is considered part of the European continent. He is actually in the Irish Parliament, but he's a farmer himself. He's an elected official, but he is literally he look like a working man, right? Watch what he got to say about what's going on. There's a thing they call CAP, C-A-P. CAP is actually subsidies that he and his compatriots absolutely depend on, a.k.a. subsidies. If you don't have CAP, you cannot farm. And this is what you're about to go into. Play.
He's from Strasbourg. We're joined by Francisco Guerrero, who's an independent member of the European Parliament with the Group of Greens and European Free Alliance. And in Brussels, we have Peter Klepper, who's a European policy analyst and editor-in-chief of the news website brusselsreport.eu, which covers the Eurozone. Gentlemen, welcome to you all. Michael, let's start with you. Give us a sense of just how difficult it is to be a European farmer right now. They get a cut of a huge subsidy, roughly a third of the EU's budget.
Pause. So if you take all of, now the EU is what you brought out. The EU is the European Union, a.k.a. the 10 common markets, right? They have a budget of 100%, right? Out of that 100%, right, 1/3, did I hear that right? Yes, sir. 1/3 is subsidized for the agricultural development, right? That means you have 2/3 left to do what you got to do. A huge part of their budget went to the Ukraine war, with which they all depended on the very people that the U.S. is going against in support of the Ukraine war. These people have a deep, deep resentment for the United States of America. And the U.S. media does not want us to understand that over here. This, y'all got to see. This is why, and we got a million scriptures I was going to pull, but that is the perfect one you pulled. Along with when you get into Habakkuk, when you get into Micah, when you get into Isaiah 14, when you get to Revelation chapter 13, All these things that come into play. Revelation 12 is coming to play right now. Okay? They're going to war. Esau's, the house of Esau is officially divided. You're going to see, and this is the beginning. Play on.
About that bad for them?
Well, first of all, in relation to the subsidies, and welcome to all your guests. In relation to the subsidies, it's called CAP. Ironically enough, as when CAP was brought in, it was to make sure that people living in cities or people with a lesser income were able to afford food, and rightly so. And everybody agreed with this. But the problem that has happened over the years is in the last CAP, the funding is less, so there's less money to go around. We are letting in, obviously, more countries. So the more countries that come in, when you have less of a budget, you know the answer yourself, there's less funding. But on top of that, the EU is constantly, and I see it in Ireland, I'll give you the case specific in the line of, they brought in the Habitats Directive. They are now proposing to bring in the Nature Restoration Law, which I understand they are.
Nature restoration law is the equivalent of the green agenda, which is net zero, which is go electric, go wind, go solar, which is this guy in Ireland. Guess what all his equipment operates on? Diesel fuel. So you got to really understand, like this is like, let me give you an example. This is like if you are a fisherman and you have a all of your gear and everything you do is working on gasoline. And they tell you every vessel you have in 6 years, you got to do away with it and you have to get all electric boats. If you didn't get there and follow the rules, you can't fish anymore. They're not able to even live. Because I said to myself, what would make these people drive and do all these crazy stuff they're doing? It's because this is life or death to them. And when you start playing with people's livelihood, they're going to do crazy things. Now, y'all doing a good job, tech team. I know it's hard tonight. I get it. Now, let's go to the last couple of videos. We're going to touch more on this next week, but I want you to, if they're short, let's start first with, we're going to go to Dutch, or the Dutch is Denmark, I believe, then Spain, then Germany, then those three. These are three examples of the nearly 12 European countries that this is happening right now. Not just with the farmers, also with the entire transportation sector. Play. I wish if we could find the one with the wine dumping. I don't remember which one that is. They dump wine out of a giant truck and they all over the ground. I don't remember which one it is. That's okay. You do what you got to do. Denmark. So check this out. Just by the way, I forgot to tell you. This is not early in the morning. Okay? This is at night. And these guys drove early in the morning to get there. So they're staying for not 3-4 hours and driving 100 miles and staying for, no, they're staying for days. Okay? Play. So this is in Denmark, and when we pulled up the map, Denmark is at the top of above Germany. So it's happening there. Now go to the next video. Now we're going to show you another country. Look at this, and this is actually taking place in between countries. What does it say? So this is the border. Let me take a look. There's something. It should. Hold up. Yes. So Spanish farmers are blocking the border with France. So if you look at the map, where Spain, you don't have to do it. When you look at the map between Spain and France, they're actually blocking commerce coming in and out of countries. They're blocking the transport of goods, not just food, into countries. That is all kind of local and federal laws are being broken here. And guess what? Esau don't give a damn. You mess with his food, you mess with his livelihood, he's ready to die for this thing. Okay? Look at how far it's backed up. And by the way, it looks like a 2 or 3 lane highway. That is blocked up. Look at the other way. You got to see what's going on. It's going on all over Europe. Why the hell is this not the talk of every news station? Every talk show should be talking about this. They don't understand. Europe is their buddies in Europe. They really have a deep animosity and a deep disregard for the United States of America. And they're trying to keep y'all completely ignorant. Play on. That's just the visual. Go to the next one, and we're going to go to our back attack. So this is Germany, the largest economy in Europe, 4th largest economy on the planet Earth. This is what's going on in Germany. Look at this. Look at the number of tractors. Look at the sheer number of headlights. And it's going to scroll out. It's going to show you like a little formation they got going here. Okay, play this.
Footage showing massive protests are being carried out by farmers in Germany against the government on January 8th. Thousands of farmers.
So Michael was saying earlier on the break, today is February the 8th. This has been going on for nearly a month or more in some places, as recent as today. So all of this is a buildup, And remember, the elections in the entire continent of Europe are taking place this summer. And these farmers are the logistics involved in getting these vehicles that go 25 miles an hour. Staged like this is something that has never been seen before, and they are fighting for their livelihood. If these things go through and they continue to tax them and withhold cap, like the Irish guy said, withhold subsidies, and they cannot farm. 1/3 of the European budget goes to agriculture. 1/3. That's amazingly, ridiculously high. Okay? Play.
Tractors, waving signs and yelling at politicians. They want the government to change its mind. The farmers in Germany are protesting due to unfair taxes and practice. It's not just a few farmers, but lots of them. They believe the tax system in Germany needs to be fixed.
That's it. So, yes, get the wine one.
30 seconds.
We got one more. Thank you for staying with us. We know it's a late show. Some of you will post and reshare in the morning. Bear with us. Today was tough with the tech team, but they hung in there. They hung in there. All right. Last video, then we're going to go live back attack.
Start at 30 seconds. The first 30 seconds is sheep taking over the highway, but Cap wants the wine part.
So remember, what they will show you is it's the farmers. We're going to show you. Now watch this. So,
that right there is boxes of nothing but wine. And just back it up a little bit. Come on, a little more. Right there. Right there. Yeah. Go from no. Right there. Play it. They're gonna show you all of the different types of. So that's wine. And all of them boxes and crates. There's crates of wine. They pouring out wine right there, just dumping it. Just dumping wine on the road.
And guess what? That's a TikTok, right? Or X, whatever it's called, Twitter, whatever's a TikTok, right? You got to understand something. He's going to dump the entire load of wine. Let's quantify it. How much French wine and German wine, it's got no nitrates, it's fairly expensive. What does a 25-ounce bottle of wine go for? He's dumping hundreds of gallons of wine, not grape juice, wine on the deck. That is thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars he's dumping it. And guess what? You think he lose his job? They're still doing it. The transportation industry is striking over all Europe. They had airports, not planes. You might have been in a plane before. There's only 25 people. Airports are empty in Europe. This is crazy. All these things are going to make the great whore hate it even more, to the point where this is going to bring World War III in. All the things you see with the Arabs, how the sleeper cells are here in America, that right now, I got an update. The Israeli military is planning an attack on southwestern Gaza, meaning the very bottom, which borders Egypt. Egypt is saying, if you declare war, if you attack close to our border, Egypt is going to declare war on Israel. Listen, this is it. We coming home. Bishop, the whole class he's been teaching, what has he been teaching about? Get your mind right. Get prepared. They're going to come for us. Their time is but a short time. When the white man begins to turn on his big brother, because big brother is only concerned with his interests right now. The hell with little brother. They're going to turn. The family's divided. Esau's divided in his flock. And you're going to find out. The world going to turn on this white man in America. The whole world going to turn on him. So with that, I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Micah.
All right. Stay with us, y'all. Law Back Attack. Shalom.
Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it. Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it. Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth.
Hey, shalom, Israel, shalom. Welcome back to the Law Back Attack Thursday night. Captain Shem, this will be short. I want two scriptures. I want Sirach 30, verse 25, and I want Sirach 38, verse 4. We're going to show you two videos. And yes, it's a broken record. It's a broken record of sincerity. And until we get the medical disorder of obesity in check in not only in IUIC, but in our communities, we're going to continue to have premature death. We're going to continue to be the highest rate of heart attack, diabetes 2, other ailments such as strokes and major things that can, for the most part, be avoided with following basic biblical guidelines. Okay, so I'm like I told one brother the other day, I said, yo, bro, I literally am trying to help you heal yourself now. I said, when you're in, I'm not going to the hospital. I'm not anointing you. I'm not coming to visit you in the hospital. You're 130 pounds overweight. You need to fix it. You got 6. You got to treat it like your life depends on it. And then 2-3 years later, you're still the same size. You're still the same dude. And you're morbidly obese or you're obese. You're still fighting a losing war. And you're not doing nothing about it. Hey, that's your problem. Read.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 25.
Uh-huh.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
A cheerful and a good heart will have a care. Care. You got to care about yourself enough to say enough is a friggin' enough. Ain't that right? The brother that sings the best part in the Quest song. You know what I'm talking to. No mountain so high, no valley too low. We go to the world to teach our people. Well, yeah, well, you're 150 friggin' pounds overweight. Don't you want to be able to see quest number 10? Yeah, you know I'm talking to you. I ain't got to say no names. That's the problem with our people, man. God will send people in your life. The Most High will send people to help you to help yourself, and you reject the help. And I'm just speaking my health because some brothers have a problem with porn, and then Most High will send somebody who overcame porn to talk to you, and you don't listen to him. It's the same thing. With health is one part of this truth. Read Sirach 38, verse 4.
The book of Sirach, chapter 38, verse 4.
Come on.
The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth.
So let's just think about it. A man has a good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. Then now the scripture, another precept links up and is saying, read it again.
The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth.
So the medicine that you need to heal yourself comes from the earth. So let's use a little bit of logic and deduction. Well, that's single ingredients. Cabbage, Brussels sprouts. Oh, that was a salmon. That was, what's the ingredient? Salmon, strawberry, blueberry. But yet, you have the plan. You have the medicine cabinet. But your ass is still eating fried chicken and all the crap. You're still eating that. What's wrong with you? You're not. You don't have a care of your meat. You're not fulfilling the scriptures. What's wrong with you? You're in the truth 5 years and you're still 335 pounds, even though people keep talking to you. I can't wait till the national standard comes down the pipeline. All you lard asses are going to fat jail. I'm telling you right now. You think everything. See, I'm about to turn it off a little bit now. The caring part, yeah, I care. Here's the thing. You don't want to care about your meat and diet. I can't wait. Deacon Isaac, push it through. Yellow, red lard backs don't go to. You watch. All that's coming through. We just got to. Bishop's got a decision to make, and it's a tough decision. And if this goes through, I will say this. I asked for a part that I'm not sure if it's going to happen. I want all, if you're red, meaning you're 30%, but you can't even go to camp. But if you're in the yellow zone, you have to wear a letter L in yellow, like the scarlet letter. You Velcro it to your purple and gold shirt, and it can be Velcroed off and on. And what I would love to see is, like you didn't see in the movies when they rip them. So the crossing over is when the lard back gets a certain body fat percentage, he stands in front of the superior officer who's not a lard ass, and he rips the L off and says, "Congratulations, lard ass." I'm looking at AC. He's a resident lard back over here. And he's going to fat jail. And so is the other lard back. Okay, go to the videos. Enough of the pleasantries. I put my arm up like this. That means I get to watch fat people make fun of them. Oh. No, wait, stop. Play it again. This guy. Stop. When you gotta imagine, he's having a normal day, right? Probably had a couple conversations with a couple other doctors. He walks into the room, right? And he looks down. He's like, "Oh gosh, this bullshit. I gotta tell a lard ass again that she don't need to eat for about 6 months." And now he comes in, but he tries to be pleasant about it. But he can't fight the realness. This doctor is absolutely a man after my own heart. And he's also he's not an American. I don't believe he's an American. I think he might be a doctor in America, but he's not raised in this country. Play.
I'm Dr. Nazardin.
My name's Ashley.
Now, real
You
quick.
are what?
Okay. This woman is freakishly morbid obese. She's weighing in, I think, at about 550 or 600 pounds. And I'm surprised she's not in a lard back mobile. She actually walked in there, I think, because she's sitting on a chair, or maybe 2 or 3 chairs, but she's sitting down. A lot of the lard backs got to be wheeled. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised she fit through the damn door. I really am surprised she fit through the door. Okay? Now she shakes her hand like as if everything's Irie, and now the doctor is about to give her some lard back advice. Play.
You are what, 27?
Yes.
Stop! Wait a minute. She did not get to 600 pounds from year 18 to 27. She was a fat child. Her mother and father, okay, played a significant part of her lardism. And once she got 21, she got out the house, or 18, she got out the house, it was no holds barred. The invention of the eating apps on your smartphone and DoorDash and delivery services can directly contribute to Popeyes and other eateries that went directly into her belly. Her caloric uptake should have been about 2,500. She has 2,500 calories 4 or 5 times a day. That's how you gain about freaking, she's gaining 4 or 5 pounds a week to get to that lard level. Play on.
So you're 725 pounds.
Stop! Stop! Hey, any one of you lard asses that's out there in camp, right? If you ever get depressed, just put this video on. Because a lot of you fat back lard asses are 150 pounds overweight. You're a smooth 340, which in itself is absolutely disgusting and terrible. But at least you're not 700 pounds, okay? And she now is going to look shocked. Wait a minute. When your ass got to 450, you didn't realize that you was the size of a doggone circus elephant? Only in America. You're never going to see this in India. You're not going to see this in doggone any. This is the age of decadence. This is the age. This is, again, going back to the show. America is falling. Babylon the Great is falling. Why? Because you have a lard back that can get up to 700. That means she's eating for a family of 12 every day. And she's she's getting bad news. So wait, when she was 700 pounds a week, 3 months ago, she wasn't shocked. Rewind it again. I know everyone wants to go home and sleep, but I don't care. We're gonna look at the lard back. She's looking. Wait, she's looking for some good news. Rewind it again. This doctor is pleasant. She shakes his hand.
You are what? 20.
He in the hallway, he's saying to himself, again, I got to go back in the room. He's looking at the 700. She's really 700 pounds. And notice she tried to shake her hand dainty. Like she tried to, like a little lady, right? Now play on.
Yes, 27 years old.
So you're 725 pounds. Tell me why you think your weight has gotten this high.
I eat too much. When I sit down and actually have a meal, I eat enough for probably 3 or 4 regular people. And it's like I never get full, and a lot of times I eat for comfort.
Who does the grocery shopping?
Me. I mean, we make a list, and my husband goes in for me.
Stop! Let's just put it this way. If we turn the camera and there is a 140-pound man, okay, something wrong. And it better not be a brother. It better not be a brother. I didn't watch the whole. This better not be a black dude that's married to this behemoth. I pray to the Lord. Because look at him. He's struggling to look at her. And he's a doctor. He got a Hippocratic. He is struggling right now to keep his professionalism, which is very hard. Play on.
Right. Ashley has created an environment where she can deal with life without constantly eating. Now that she is over 700 pounds, she's not very functional on her own, and she's eating constantly.
Okay, thank the Lord. Now, he's a lard back in himself. He's probably a smooth 100 pounds overweight, but he is a damn friggin' lollipop stick next to that lard ass. Okay, now that's it on that. Notice the music was very touching at the end, all right? Now, here's the deal. I know I look tired. Here's the deal. One more video. Now, there's a Navy SEAL. Y'all know David Goggins. David Goggins was an Air Force guy who became a big, disgusting, fatback lard ass in the Air Force because they're the most undisciplined besides the friggin' probably the Navy. And then the lardback wanted to go into, well, not the Navy SEALs. In order to become a SEAL, you cannot be a fatback, disgusting lard ass. So David Goggins actually lost 100 pounds, which a lot of you lardbacks, even in IUIC, you need to lose 100 pounds. Shout out to many officers, okay? And he lost 100 pounds, and what he did is he did it in a way where he did not get stretch marks. So a lot of you fatback lard asses are worried that if you lose the weight, you're going to have stretch marks, which, by the way, is your problem, not mine. But if you do lose the weight, David Goggins, who's a brother, has a solution for you to minimize your disgusting stretch marks because you were a victim of your own fat mind. You allowed yourself to get 100. If I gained 5 pounds, I would be depressed and angry at myself. How do you brothers gain 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 100 pounds of fat, blubber, and lard? Because you're weak. You got a first-rate problem. I didn't know what I'm going to eat this hour. Well, you got people in Africa that eat 1 time a damn day. only this place here make you brothers weak as hell. Let's play the video.
100 pounds in 3 months.
Right.
Like you are like cut. Like most people lose 30 pounds and they have a bunch of marks
fat.
everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, and their chest is like falling down and stuff.
Right.
How'd you do that? Is there a secret?
There is a secret. So most people who want to lose weight, they go into this serious cardiovascular, just dropping calories.
Yeah.
So yeah, that helps you lose weight. But what happens is, man, you have this loose skin all over your body.
Yeah.
So I invented this routine. It was called like anywhere from the 100 to 500 routine. So I pick a lightweight and I go in there and I smoke out. You want to pick something that you can do over 100 times without stopping.
So now, and this is the thing, because lard back attack is to attack lard and fat. But the reality is this. Listen, brothers, and we gotta start with the brothers. You brothers can do it. You have to regulate the amount of times you eat a day. You got to cut the carbs and processed sugars. And when you do that, and if you listen to David Goggins, he lost 100 pounds. That's a substantial amount of fat. And the brother is cut up because he took a lot of light weights and he did smoked out means you go to you can't go anymore. And what that means is he was able to stretch his muscles out, which kept the muscles fuller of blood longer. And it worked because the guys interviewed him and said, how is you able to do this? So you brothers that are obese and morbidly obese, you try to do what he says. Talk to your doctor first. Cam Shim told me to do 500. No. Talk to your doctor. Make sure it's okay for you to smoke out like that and do that. Also, talk to your doctor about getting on a 1 meal a day healthy keto. Every one of you brothers in IUIC and throughout the world, you can become no longer obese or morbidly obese. You have to try. You have to apply what is written in the scriptures. And you have to use other men's examples. We got a brother right now, last plug-in, the Fat Back, Lard Back chat. In July, he was a smooth 343. He looked absolutely horrible. He looked like he had a face injected with full of like water or like 10, 15 bees stung him all over his face. The guy now has lost almost 110 pounds, and it's about six and a half months, and he completely looks different. His life is changing. And he's doing it, and he's doing it. And guess what? He's going to walk across the stage at men's conference. He's going to be a completely different. No one's going to recognize him. And this is going on throughout Israel United in Christ. When you have more and more men that are going to stand up and do something about it. Once we do that, we got to turn to the sisters. Black American women. Now, I'm going to throw Benjamin in there. Black Judites. The sisters from the tribe of Judah. I love y'all. You are the worst. You have the worst health out of all of the races, and we have the worst health out of all the tribes. So how you going to fix it? The black men, Judah, got to stand. Black men got to stand up. We the head tribe. We got to stand up. The men got to take control. We got to get healthy first, and then we're going to put these women in line. You cannot do that unless the men stand first. So brothers, join us. We're going to stand up. We're going to fight back and attack the lard. With that, I'm Captain Shem. Lard back attack. Shalom.
You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Hey, make sure y'all giving alms at y'all local school. Y'all can do so by dropping it in the alms box with the envelopes, or you can do so online via PayPal. Hey, if y'all want to donate to Precept Upon Precept, y'all can do so via PayPal at IUIC.NewOrleans at IsraelUnite.org. Also, while y'all there, make sure y'all drop some money in the Booster Club via PayPal at IUIC.fundraising at IsraelUnite.org. And while you still on PayPal, go ahead and give to the Land Fund. You can do that via PayPal at Israel at IsraelUnite.org. Make sure y'all label it land. Hey, look, take your phones out right now. Do it now. Take your phones out, scan the QR code, let us know how we doing. We in studio right now doing the same thing, so y'all follow suit.
Hey, shalom, y'all. Shalom, y'all. Hey, listen. So I'm doing it right now as I speak. And basically, it's simple. You aim your camera, you hit the box, it puts a yellow box around it, you press, and then it gives you a link. You click on the yellow link. On iPhones, it's yellow. It says Viewer Experience Survey. Now, I'm going down right now, and I'm going to click down. We watched Precept upon Precept, which is way the hell down here. Okay, in alphabetical order. That's pretty cool. Press Next. Okay, how was the audio? I'm going to say it was a smooth, too, because we had some, we got to improve. How was the video quality? I think video was good. I'll give that a 4. Okay, you got to rate it. Punctuality? No, absolutely not. No, we did not start on time. In their defense, we had some brother that was out. I thought we were informative. I'll give it a 4. I thought we were very informative. We did a lot of research. How was the overall broadcast? I'm going to say it wasn't terrible, but it was probably a 2. That's it. My viewer experience is done. You can do that too. You should do that for every single radio show, from Bishop Nathaniel's, the lead class of the week, all the way down to the newest radio show, and even I think they have it for even morning meditation. Well, I'm not sure if they have it for morning meditation or daily bread. I'm not sure if they have that or not.
If they're broadcasting at a school, then yes, but most times no.
Okay. So all praise to the Most High, brothers. Hey, thank you for staying with us. Actually, we started at about 9:50, so we went only about 2 hours. We're reasonable. Thank you for staying with us. I'm going to plug it one more time. Share our YouTube page. Like. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Okay? And tell us what you think. Your comments, like I know I'm learning about my shortcomings and trying to fix what we need to do to make it a better show. Being late, a lot of you don't watch because of the fact that it is late, but we want you to repost this and share it, because guess what? You're not going to see things of geographical in the political realm or you're not going to see this in a lot of stations. Even within IUIC radio shows, we focus on what goes on really overseas most of the time, all right? So with that, we're Precept upon Precept. I'm Captain Shim.
Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Micah.
All praise to the Most High. And yes, I'm long-winded and I take short breaths. I know I'm working on it. All praise to the Most High. And with that, we say shalom.
Judo blood. I see. Look, I see matches in the kingdom. I see hunters slaying demons. I see fire on this earth coming down like IUIC. I see prophets rising up, prophesying scriptures cut. I see Christ, he coming back.